Look, if you don't have the plugins, you don't get the placements. That's just the truth. So if you're using stock plugins on your vocals, my question would be, why?
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
There are tons and tons of fantastic plugins out there. And if you're not taking advantage of them, you're really selling yourself short. So what I want to do today is go over 3 must-have plugins for vocals. These are my go-tos. I use them all the time, and they've made my life a lot easier. I think they'll do the same for you. So let's get to it. All right, so I got a beat pulled up here. This is actually a song I've been working on recently. It's by Jelly Roll, and reason I picked this one specifically is because I pretty much use all of the plugins that I'm going over today, right? So they're all kind of in my vocal chain. And actually, let me go ahead and play the song for you real quick. And that way you can hear kind of what you're listening to. Then I'll go over the first plugin here.
Gotta admit, Nashville in the kitchen eating chicken meat while I'm on the stove and I'm whipping, let's get it. I'm from the south side, and yes, I really live it. And I got about 50K and I'm willing to spend it. And that's a cool ticket for a price on his head. Have him scratching, have him itching like some lights on his head. And after do this bed, I have his wife in my bed. Not to mention tell the truth, it's nice with the head. And ever since I got on, they don't want me less than 10. Life been okay ever since I met the Mexicans. Keep on talking, keep it walking like pedestrians. A label won't fuck me like I'm a lesbian. Southside till I die, certified bad guy. At the preachers go, I think that I need to be baptized. I just pray the Lord save my soul for my daughter. Michael Phelps, I struck gold in the water. Southside till I die, certified bad guy. Southside till I die.
All right, so that's pretty much what we're working with here. The first plugin I'm actually going to be going over, it's a de-esser. And specifically, it's the Sibilance de-esser by Waves. This de-esser is head and shoulders above most of the other ones that I've used. And I think the reason for that is that instead of it acting as a compressor of sorts, and it has some AI that not only looks ahead and is efficient on your CPU, but also it targets the sibilance that we're looking for. So any S's or any T sounds, or any CH or SH, those can all be problematic, especially if you're compressing a vocal. Because if you don't take care of it before you compress the vocal, then you're pretty much out of luck. It's hard to fix it afterward. So as far as sibilance is concerned, super easy to use. Like any other de-esser, it has a threshold here. It has a range for gain reduction. This is how much reduction you're getting, in those syllables. So the only thing you really need to know here is that the detection meter basically is, playing with the Q, of the band, right? So the more you take it to the left here, the narrower your band is going to be. And the more you take it to the right, the wider your band is going to be. So generally speaking, the left side over here, this narrow band is good for S's and T's. Any short sounds like that. The right side is better for SH and CH. Any sort of drawn out sh. So, that's kind of how you do that. But you don't have to pick one or the other. You can blend the two, So that helps. Same with the wide and split mode. Wide is going to be, of course, a wider band. Split's going to be skinnier. Now, unlike other de-essers where you just pick wide or split, here you can blend the two as well. So overall, this is a great de-esser. I'll go ahead and play the vocal for you before and after, so you can kind of hear what's going on there.
Gotta admit, Nashville in the kitchen eating chicken meat while I'm on the stove and I'm whipping, let's get it. I'm from the south side, and yes, I really live it. And I got about 50K and I'm willing to spend it. And that's a...
Okay, so the S's aren't too out of control there, but I did want to, because I'm about to EQ it even further in this vocal chain, I did want to bring those down just a little bit. I'll go ahead and activate it here, and I'll let you hear the vocal, and then I'll play just the monitor section, so you'll be able to hear just what it's cutting.
I told him. Gotta admit, Nashville in the kitchen eating chicken meat while I'm on the stove and I'm whipping, let's get it. I'm from the south side, and yes, I really live it. And I got about 50K and I'm willing to spend it. And that's a cool ticket for a price on his head. Have him scratching, have him itching like some light.
Okay, so it brings down that sibilance just a bit. Here's the monitor section, so you can hear exactly what it's cutting. So as you can hear, that's incredibly accurate. If you've ever used another de-esser before, it can be really tricky. But sibilance is the total package. Like I said, it's by waves. So my recommendation process is go get you a great de-esser, whether that's sibilance or something else. But I definitely recommend this one. So that's the first plugin. All right, so next we're going to be looking at the 1176 compressor, which here I have a CLA 76, which is basically just the waves version of the 1176 emulator. And the reason I'm using the 1176 is because it has a couple of features that are attractive to me. And 1176s are known for having really quick releases and attacks. The slowest attack and release is around a millisecond. So they do really well with picking up things that are coming quickly, like drum sounds, for example, like hi-hats, things of that nature. In addition to that, I use it on vocals to catch transients. And what I mean by transients is the initial sounds at the beginning of syllables. Sometimes whenever we record, there are going to be errant syllables that are louder than all the others. So let's say you have a vocal track and its levels are pretty even, throughout the entire verse, but there are 3 or 4 times where a syllable's super loud. Well, when you put that through a compressor, those syllables are going to sound odd, and then it's going to be wonky throughout the entirety of the compression cycle. So you're going to be wondering what happened, why does it sound like this, that sort of thing. With 1176, you can do a very, very light compression. I do it with the quickest release possible and one of the slower attacks here, and I only do like 1 to 3 dB of gain reduction. Literally, I'm not trying to really compress this vocal. I'm trying to catch those loud syllables, right? So there will be some syllables and words that aren't compressed at all, and that's okay, right? Because ultimately, whenever I'm done, I want an incredibly even, rounded, well-controlled vocal. So that way, whenever I'm putting EQ on it and compression after that, then it makes it easy peasy. So let's go over sort of how to use this, and then I'll do a before and after for you so you can hear what it sounds like.
I told him. Gotta admit, Nashville in the kitchen eating chicken. Meanwhile, I'm on the stove and I'm whipping. Let's get it. I'm from the south side, and yes, I really live it. And I got about 50K, and I'm willing to spend.
Okay, so I'll play a before and after. You won't really hear that much of a difference because, like I said, it's very light compression. It's just very subtle to make my life easier down the road. So I'll play before and after.
I told him. Gotta admit, Nashville in the kitchen eating chicken. Meanwhile, I'm on the stove and I'm whipping. Let's get it. I'm from the south side, and yes, I really live it. And I got about 50K, and I'm willing to spend it. And that's a cool ticket for a price on his head. Have him scratching, have him itching like some lice on his head. And after the dude is dead, I have his wife in my bed. Not to mention tell the truth, this bitch is nice with the head.
So like I said, it's pretty subtle. You can hear a difference there, of course, but ultimately that makes the vocal a lot more controlled. So get out there and get yourself a 76 emulator. They're all over the place. I'd probably just Google it and find one that's best for you. But I tend to like the waves option. So down in the description, I'll include links to these plugins as well as a 10% off coupon at Waves. So hopefully that'll help you. But yeah, that's the CLA 76. All right, so the next plugin we're going to be going over is going to be the Cymatics Diablo. And Cymatics Diablo is actually a clipper, and there tends to be a lot of confusion, especially with new producers, about what clippers are. To put it simply, they act very much like a limiter, meaning they're going to boost whatever sound you place it on. The difference is, with a clipper, it's a bit more harsh and rudimentary. It generally adds some harmonics, and once sounds get to a certain level, it just clips it there, right? So there's two different types of clipping, hard and soft clipping. It's really not super important to go into the nitty gritty on those. Just know that hard clipping usually sounds a bit more harsh. Soft clipping is a bit more smooth. So the Cymatics Diablo is actually one of the better clippers that I've ever used. It's very simple. As you can see here, it only has 2 knobs for the most part. The punch knob is going to be for boosting transient sounds. So if you're using this on a kick or an 808, it's usually good to play with the punch a bit. Since we're using it on vocals, I kind of leave that alone. And I only focus on the clip meter here. So I've got it set on hard clipping just because I like the additional harmonics that it adds. But, there's no real set mode or set levels that you need to focus on. It's all just going to be ear training and going with what sounds good to you. Let me go over how to use this, and then we'll do it before and after. On vocals. All I'm doing here is doing hard clipping, and this is boosting the signal of the vocal and giving it power without it being overpowering or without it clipping and sounding horrible. This is actually really helpful for hip hop and EDM, especially when you've got really strong, powerful beats that vocals have trouble sort of cutting through.
I told him. Gotta admit, Nashville in the kitchen eating chicken. Meanwhile, I'm on the stove and I'm whipping. Let's get it. I'm from the south side, and yes, I really live it. And I got about 50K, and I'm willing to spend it. And
here's the after.
I told him. Gotta admit, Nashville in the kitchen eating chicken. Meanwhile, I'm on the stove and I'm whipping. Let's get it. I'm from the south side, and yes, I really live it. And I got about 50K, and I'm willing to spend it. And that's a cool ticket for a price on his head.
Difference there is.
Scratching, have him itching like some lice on his head. And after dude is dead, I have his wife in my bed. Not to mention, tell the truth, it's nice with the head. And ever since I got on, they don't from me less than 10. Life been okay ever since I met the Mexicans. Keep on talking, keep it.
Certain sounds are better for, hard clipping or soft. Generally, with these types of plugins, you can just toy with it until you get something that sounds right, and that's, a great way to start learning. So I almost always use something like this, and it helps massively. So I hope everybody's able to play around with this stuff, because ultimately that's how we all get better, is by experimenting. Let me know in the comments which of these plugins you were able to toy around with, which ones you liked or didn't like. Additionally, if you have suggestions for future videos, feel free to drop those in the comments as well. Ultimately, if you just hate this mixing stuff, then you should go over to my website, which is producedbyvargo.com. I've got some mixing mastering packages that are affordable and customizable. So again, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.
Man, I keep them close. Rappers lie, record labels blow smoke. So I just sit back, don't try to put a camera on me, cause I don't want the fame, man, it's all the same to me. I'm what I'm playing to be, and I feel like you should know my name.